Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to our English class. It's a grammar lesson today. In today's lesson, we will talk about indefinite pronouns some and any. So, let's start. Today in the lesson, we are going to learn how to use the indefinite pronouns some and any. Learn some new words and practice your reading and listening skills. Now let's learn some new words. The first word is dish. Dish is food prepared in particular way as part of meal. For example, vegetarian dish. The second meaning of this word is a round flat container with raised edge used for serving or holding food. The dishes in plural are all the plates, glasses, knives, forks, and so on that have been used during a meal. And the last meaning of this word, national dish. National dish is a culinary dish that is strongly associated with a particular country. For example, bishbarmak is our national dish. And what about cooking? Watch, listen, read, and repeat the new words. Slice. Peel. Pour. Grill. Repeat one more time, please. Slice, peel, pour, grill. Very good. Let's have some fun. Listen and sing a song.
Form bananas, peel bananas, go bananas, go, go, go. Form the corn, form the corn, peel the corn, peel the corn. Pop the corn, pop the corn, pop the corn.
Form potato, slice potato, slice potato. Mash potato, mash potato. Mash potato.
Form the orange, form the orange. Peel the orange, peel the orange. Squeeze the orange, squeeze the orange. Squeeze the orange. Form the onion, form the onion. Dice the onion, dice the onion. Cry from the onion, cry from the onion. Cry, cry, cry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Form bananas, peel bananas, peel bananas. Go bananas, go bananas.
Go,
Go.
everybody.
Let's go bananas, go bananas. Let's go bananas, go bananas. Let's go bananas, go bananas. Go. Bananas.
And now look at these pictures. Let's answer the questions. Who cooks in your family? And what is your favorite dish? For example, in Mirgul's family, her father cooks. And her favorite food is sushi. And what about you? Who cooks in your family? And what is your favorite dish? Good job. Let's cook something tasty. read the dialogue between Aygul and David about cooking. So, let's start. Read the beginning of the conversation. What do you think they are cooking? Okay, let's start. Is there any lamb in the fridge? Yes, there is some. We need 2 kilos of meat. Are there any onions in the fridge? Yes, there are some. We need 2 onions. So, what do you think they are cooking? The next task. Look at the highlighted words in the conversation. Complete the table with some, any, and is, are. Do it in written form. Have you written? Let's check. We use some in positive sentences, any in negative sentences, is with singular countable and uncountable nouns, and we use are with plural nouns. Now it's time to learn how to use some and any. Before I start explaining, there are some things you need to understand, like what are these words? Here we have milk, a cat, bread, a sandwich, a glass, and rice. These words are called nouns to name things, people, and places. As you remember, there are 2 types of nouns, countable and uncountable. Now, if you don't know what that means, these words come from the verb to count, which basically means the name of the numbers, like 1, 2, 3, and so on. Also, this on means not. Okay, so now that we know all of that, try to categorize these nouns as countable or uncountable. All right. Let's check. Let's see if you were right. The countable ones are a cat, a sandwich, and a glass. The uncountable ones are milk, rice, and bread. Okay. So one question that you might have is why milk is uncountable if I can count the cartons? That's exactly it. You can count the cartons, but not the milk inside. The same thing goes with rice. You can count the bowls, not the rice in them. Notice also that singular countable nouns have a or an in front of them. In this case, we only have a because none of our countable nouns start with vowel. So with countable nouns, we can easily say something like, I want 1 cat, 2 sandwiches, or 3 glasses. And if we want to say something like, I want bread, rice or milk, instead of numbers we can say some. Some is used in positive sentences. As you can see, here we use it with uncountable nouns. However, we can also use it with countable nouns when we don't know the exact number of something. For example, if you see a jar of cookies, you can say there are some cookies in the jar. Okay, now I need you to read these two sentences. He wants some milk. There are some cookies in the jar. Try to transform them into their negative and question forms. Think a little. Okay, now let's see if you were right. Negative sentence. He doesn't want any milk. And question, does he want any milk? There aren't any cookies in the jar. Are there any cookies in the jar? As you can see, from these examples, we can say that we use some in positive sentences and any in negative and question sentences. And we use some and any with both countable and uncountable nouns. Now look at this table and pay attention. As you can see, in all of these sentences, we've used the word some and any, and indefinite article an. There are different types of sentences in the table. We see the positive, negative, and interrogative sentences. Let's look at these sentences in more detail. Let's read the first one. There is a banana. We can see that this is in singular, positive sentence. So the verb is in the singular and the noun is in singular too. We never use the verb some, any for countable nouns in the singular, only in the plural. And in the C column, there are uncountable nouns. There is some water. Okay, this is slightly different. Uncountable nouns are not separate objects. We can't count uncountable nouns. They are just a mass of product. And they can only exist in the singular. So the verb is in the singular and the noun is in the singular too. And we also use the verb some for uncountable nouns in positive sentences. The second sentence, there are some potatoes. And in this positive sentence, we use some for the countable nouns. We only use the word some if the countable noun is in the plural. And as always, the countable nouns must be in the plural. The verb also goes in plural. In the third sentence, there isn't an apple. As you can see, this is in the singular. According to the rule, we don't use some or any. Remember, don't use some or any with singular countable nouns. The next one. There isn't any bread. It's okay. We use any in the negative sentence and bread is uncountable. and uncountable nouns are always in singular, so the verb is in the singular too. The next sentence. There aren't any potatoes. Any is used because it is a negative sentence, and the countable noun is in the plural. That's why the verb goes in the plural for countable nouns in the negative sentences and questions. We usually use any. For normal questions with countable noun in the singular, we don't use any. For example, is there a pineapple? Okay. This is the second situation where we use the word any. For normal questions with countable nouns in the plural and uncountable nouns in the singular, we use any. So any in questions. Are there any eggs? Or is there any coffee? Okay, that was quite easy, I hope. Remember, there is used with singular countable and uncountable nouns. There are is used only with plural countable nouns. Hope you've understood the rule. Well, to remember the rule, I suggest you to watch the video about some and any.
Some and any mean a non-specific quantity. We can use some and any with countable and uncountable nouns. Some friends, any water, some money, any cats, some boys, any food. We use some for positive sentences. I have some water. He has some brothers. They have some money. She has some cats. You have some friends. We use any for negative sentences. I don't have any water. He doesn't have any brothers. They don't have any money. She doesn't have any cats. You don't have any friends. We also use any for interrogative sentences. Do I have any water? Does he have any brothers? Do they have any money? Does she have any cats? Do you have any friends?
Now, children, test yourself. Try to write sentences with a, an, and there is, there are. You have only 20 seconds. Use these pictures. Let's check. There is an orange. There aren't any oranges. There is a croissant. There isn't a croissant. Now make up negative sentences using any and pictures. Your time is up. Let us check. I don't need any pepper. We don't have any salt. Great job. Let's keep learning. Now we should read the rest part of conversation between Aygul and David. Complete the sentences with some, any, and is, are. Good. Let's check. Are there any eggs in the fridge? Yes, there are some eggs. 10 eggs. We need only 2 eggs. Is there any flour in the cupboard? Yes, there is some. We need 600 grams of flour. We also need some salt and water. What are we cooking? Besh parmak. What's beshparmak? It's a national Kyrgyz dish. Beshparmak means 5 fingers. We call it beshparmak because we eat it with our hands. Wow, that's very interesting. Great job. And finally, let's review the grammar rule. When do we use some and any? We usually use some and any with countable and uncountable nouns in affirmative sentences. For example, there is some sugar, there are some apples. And we use any with countable and uncountables in negative and interrogative sentences. For example, there isn't any sugar, there aren't any apples. Is there any sugar? Are there any apples? Our lesson is over. Thank you for your attention. Keep practicing.